well in the chat. So I think with that, let me share my screen and get started. And oops, here we go. All right, oops. Okay. Just going to get us started here. So hi again, everyone. My name is Christine Kohlzaug, and I'm the Executive Director at Sustainable San Mateo County, or SSMC for short. So just wanted to start by presenting the happy hour team. So of course, I mean, it's a team effort, and I'm fortunate enough that I have quite a few people, very talented people that are working with me to bring you the happy hours. So those are monthly events, and I'll just quickly mention them. So we have Kirsten Keys. She is one of my board members, and she's actually going to do the, she's going to EMC the session today. Then we have Leanne Eberhardt. She has been volunteering with us on a number of programs and projects for a long time. Very valuable key volunteer. Then we have Gianna Bowie. She also has been volunteering with me a long time on social media and the happy hours. She is off today, so we'll see her again in May. Then we have our new intern, Alice Tian. If for some of you, you may have seen the nice little story video on Instagram. So she is the brains behind that. And then we have Megan King. She is another one of our interns. She's going to join us a little bit later. And typically she's working on the trivia questions. So, oops. Oh, not sure that it's not working here. Let me see what's happening. Escape. Whoops, here we go. So just a few words about our organization. So basically you can find more about us at sustainablesanmateo.org. That's our website. But basically our whole mission, our whole charter is to advance and accelerate sustainability throughout the county of San Mateo. And we have a range of different programs to do that. So we have programs that focus on measurement and performance. That's our indicators report and a new dashboard project. Then we also like to, of course, manage and see where we stand, but we also think it's important to have the solutions to actually move the needle on sustainability. So that's our sustainability idea. And then most of you may be aware of a big annual program, awards recognition and celebration program, because we also think that there is a lot of great work that's done throughout the county and that we would like to highlight and inspire others to follow suit. And last but not least, we also advocate for sustainability policies and initiatives that are in line with our mission. So I mentioned our annual award celebration and just wanted to point this out. That's happening on May 14th, starting at 5:30. And here you will see a website where you can register. And perhaps Leanne, if you could also add that to the chat, that would be great. Also, I hear a little bit of background noise, so please, for everyone that just came in, if you could please mute yourself, that would be great. Thanks so much. And just to mention that also the award celebration at the same time, that's also when we'll end our virtual auction. That's actually starting on April 30th, but go to the website and you'll learn more about both events. We hope to see you at both. Just a few words to thank our sponsors, especially our top tier sponsors, Alexandria Real Estate, Linkso, Angel Foundation, the San Mateo County Transit District, who joined us at the benefactor level. So we couldn't do all the programs we do without their help, so thank you. And then at the community level, we have Bohannon, the Northern California Carpenters Regional Council, Google, serviced by Medallion, they have facility and maintenance services company, Peninsula Clean Energy, and we are so thrilled to have Carlos with us here today, Spare the Air, and Western Allied Mechanical. So here are our neighborhood level sponsors and many, many more. So I want to thank each one of you because we rely upon all your support and your input and your engagement. So thank you for being here with us today and for supporting us. In terms of announcements, so I think Mary, our speaker with commute.org, will talk a little bit more about a cool event that's going to happen very soon after our event here. So that's April 19 to the 21st. And then again, so just to mention that we are having our awards celebration on May 14, starting at 5:30. And then I hope also that you will join us for the May happy hour. That's going to be a very important topic as well. We are going to dive deeper into the case for low carbon food systems. And our speaker will be Jill Kaufman Johnson with Meyer. All right, so I think with that, before we go to the trivia, I'd like to pass it on back to
close it.
And again.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Leanne, I think maybe we'll just have Kirsten real quick before you go on.
Sorry?
Oh, I was saying maybe we'll have Kirsten real quick before you go on.
I know we're running a little behind.
The person.
We'll just say thank you so much for being here, and I hope you all have your green drink. And please feel free to share your green drink in the chat area. We love to get ideas and hear what you're drinking. And we really started this to build community during COVID. And so it's so great to see all these wonderful people here, all of you here. So thanks. We'll let the conversation begin.
All right, so Leanne, you're on.
And you're gonna have the slide? Yep. All right, trivia time. I will try and fill Gianna's shoes. So our first question, what are the on-the-road transportation emissions for 2019 for San Mateo County, an estimate? And what we'll do is either have you hold up one finger for A, 2 fingers for B, and 3 fingers for C, or you can write it in the chat. So A is under 1.7, I think that's MEO, MTCO2E, which stands for, let's see, metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, or B, around 1.7, or C, over 1.7. So what do you all think? Okay, we're getting some 3s. Oh, a lot of C's, B's. So the answer is B. It's very, very close to 1.7. So it's 1.696817. So, all right. And question 2. What's the percentage of San Mateo County residents that commute by bike according to the U.S. Census? A, 6.2%, B, 10%, C, 1.5%. All right, so, okay, again, lots of A's, B's, C's. All right, the answer is C, 1.5%. It says 2011, the percentage was lower, around 0.8%, but I guess we've gone up. All right. Trivia question 3. It is estimated that building and then operating A Toyota RAV4 and driving 200,000 miles generates a total of 78 tons of greenhouse gases. In comparison, how many tons of greenhouse gases are generated in the life of a Tesla Model 3? So here we go again. A, 56 tons, B, 36 tons, or C, 14 tons. All right. We're getting some pretty technical answers here. All right, and the answer is B, 36 tons. If electric vehicles continue to account for no more than 10% of car sales, the researchers estimate that cumulative car emissions by 2050 would be 49 gigatons. But if sales move to hybrids, emissions could be 42, and if all new cars sold are EVs, emissions would be 35.4 gigatons. There you go.
All right, so you're back on, Kirsten.
Okay, terrific. Thanks for the trivia questions. It's always enlightening. And our first speaker, we're so happy to have Carlos Moreno. He's the Community Outreach Specialist for Peninsula Clean Energy. And in this capacity, Carlos represents the agency at community events. He oversees the outreach grant program, and he helps to build the strategic relationships that are so important. He educates the public on Peninsula Clean Energy's mission to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And we're really proud of the fact that in 2016, San Mateo County and all 20 cities voted unanimously to create this. So thank you. Carlos, we're happy to have you.
Great. Thank you for your time today. Kirsten, were you going to share the slides?
Christine will do that.
Christine, okay, just checking. Yeah, so thank you everyone for your time today. Thank you for Sustainable San Mateo. We've been happy to support your work throughout the years, given that your objective is so perfectly aligned with ours, in that we need to reduce greenhouse gases in San Mateo County. I will just do a quick reminder: if you are not speaking, please mute. It's really hard for me to share the spotlight.
It looks like it's Carol Drake. If Carol Drake can hear, can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Thank you. So today I'm going to talk about two main things. One, I'm going to give a quick overview of who we are. I see here that there's a lot of familiar faces, so I'm guessing a lot of you generally know Peninsula Clean Energy and our core business. But second, I'm going to talk about our transportation initiatives and what we're doing with EVs and then beyond that. So next slide, please. Great. So we were launched in 2016 in order to, of course, reduce carbon emissions, expand access to sustainable and affordable energy, and we're authorized unanimously by the city council members in each city and the San Mateo County supervisors. Next slide. Okay, and really quick how it works, we generate the electricity, so we sign the contracts, wind, solar, hydro, throughout, different parts of the state, and PG&E, they deliver the electricity, so they still send the energy through the power lines and send a consolidated bill, but as customers, you see no change. You're automatically enrolled into Peninsula Clean Energy and helping the environment and saving a little bit of money. But basically, prior to prior to us existing, PG&E just did everything. They generated the electricity and they delivered that electricity. Now we generate the electricity on our own. And the reason that we exist is because the price of renewable energy at a large scale had dropped so significantly that a new player could come in, get better prices, and get cleaner electricity. Next slide. Great. So everyone is automatically enrolled into Eco Plus, which is our default program. If you see Peninsula Clean Energy on your PG&E bill, that's what you're seeing. It's 50% renewable, 100% carbon free as of this year, very recent. And our rates are lower than PG&E's. They're currently 5% lower. You now have choices. So before you only could stay on PG&E's generation. Now you have the Eco Plus, or you can upgrade to Eco 100, which is 100% renewable energy, and it's only about $4 more per month for the average consumer. Or you can switch and go back to PG&E if you so choose. Next slide. Great. So the impact of having Peninsula Clean Energy over just 4 to 5 years is $18 million in combined annual savings for all of our electricity customers. So this is the vast majority of residents and businesses in San Mateo County. And that's the dollar savings. In terms of environmental benefit, that's 144,000 metric tons of carbon emissions saved annually. And that's equivalent to around 30,000 cars removed from the road for just 1 year. Next one. Okay. So that was basically our core business. And we're trying to do more beyond just that. So eventually the goal is, inevitably the goal is to reduce carbon emissions in San Mateo County. So we can control, how clean the energy is when we flip a switch. But what more can we do? So since we're also a not-for-profit, a public agency, we reinvest earnings into community programs to help San Mateo County further reduce carbon emissions. And we concentrate in 3 program areas. Of course, I'm only going to talk about transportation today, but we're also working on resiliency. So, being able, in our minds, it's being able to stay connected to power when there's shutoffs for whatever reason, wildfires, power safety, power shutoffs, etc. And the other one is all electric buildings. As I'm sure many of you are aware, buildings are a huge contributor of greenhouse gases. It's easy for us to all sort of envision EVs and how that is contributing to pollution. But what people aren't also seeing is that when you have a gas stove on and no circulation, the air inside can actually be worse than the air quality outside. So that's something else we're working on as well. Next slide. Okay. So our main transportation initiative is around EVs. So right now we have 2 programs that are active. One is to rent an EV. So right now we're offering a rental rebate. It's cut off right there, but it's up to $200. So basically we estimate it's over a weekend. You can rent at any EV you want, the Chevy Bolt, a Tesla, whatever, and we'll give you up to $200. You can go to any rental car company, Enterprise, etc. We recommend Turo, so you can just look up Turo. They have an app because they have a large supply of EVs. So that is our EV rental program. The other program we have is for used EVs. Right now, it's only for income qualifying members, residents, meaning that as an individual, you can only have a maximum of $51,000, and that scales up. So for example, a family of 4 would be $100,000. And for them, we give them up to $4,000 off any used EV, which they can stack on top of numerous other programs. Quick thing is that we're actually going to be expanding this program so that it's not just income qualifying. The numbers will be smaller. It will be for any resident in San Mateo County. So stay tuned for that. We're looking at ideally a early June, but sometime in the summer rollout, and we'll have a big announcement then. Great. Upcoming is, this is our very next program we're going to have is an Ebike discount program, which is called Ebikes for Everyone. Right now, this is income qualifying. And I will say about the income qualifying is, in the past, we're trying to be super cognizant that our programs are targeting those that really need it. And, in the past, in general, we have gone past certain communities and we're trying to address that by giving them programs that are going to benefit them, not only in terms of cost, but in terms of long-term cost and health benefits, et cetera. So that's I just wanted to touch on that in terms of why these are income qualifying programs. But yeah, just going back for a sec. Yeah, so this program is up to 80% off.
Your car on the road with a
great segue. Is up to 80% off the purchase price of an e-bike, or $800 off, whichever is less. We're partnering with local bike shops in the Bay Area so that it's not a post-purchase rebate. If you go through one of these local bike shops, they'll give you the $800 off the top. And people can also go online if they choose to. So this is our upcoming e-bike program, which is launching in May. Okay, next. Okay, so not only should we give incentives on EVs themselves, but we need to help build out the infrastructure so that people have chargers available to them. So our EV Ready program is a $28 million EV charging infrastructure program, which seeks to build 3,500 charging ports in San Mateo County over 4 years. And what this program includes is not only the chargers themselves, but free technical assistance to help design and guide the project, access to negotiated EV charging station pricing by doing it all in bulk. And this program is targeted for workplace, multifamily dwelling, and public parking stations. Great. And I'm happy to take any questions either at the end or whenever works through the chat. I'll be here for the whole time. Thank you, Christine, and for everyone at Sustainable San Mateo County for your hard work, and really appreciate all of your time participating today.
Well, thank you, Carlos. That was great information, and I know we'll have more questions for you after everybody has an opportunity to speak, but that was terrific. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll just say that our next speaker is Mary Thomas Meyer, and she's the Commuter Program Specialist at Commute.org. She administers programs designed to encourage commuters in San Mateo County to switch to sustainable transportation modes. She's primarily responsible for managing the agency's bike and carpool reward programs, as well as helping plan activities for National Bike Month, which is coming up in May. Prior to joining Commute.org, Mary was a Climate Corps Fellow and worked at Skyline College as the campus sustainability coordinator. She has a Bachelor of Science in Society and Environment from UC Berkeley. And we are so thrilled to have you. So thank you, Mary. Take it away.
Thank you. I'll wait until, oh wait, here we go. So again, my name is Mary Thomas Meyer. I'm the Commuter Program Specialist at Commute.org. And we are San Mateo County's Transportation Demand Management Agency. And what does that mean? I will tell you on.
While you're running first? That's literally what I'm about to.
We're just going to ask one more time so that we can respect Mary, that everybody mute since Mary's speaking now. Thanks so much for muting yourself.
Also, Christina, I believe you can mute people as well.
Okay, great. Next slide, please. So our mission is to reduce traffic congestion and greenhouse gas emissions while enhancing the quality of life in San Mateo County by promoting the use of sustainable transportation and commute alternatives. So we do that in a number of different ways, and we have programs that we offer directly to commuters, often in the form of rewards. So we incentivize biking to work, carpooling, vanpooling, taking transit, walking, and working from home. We also operate first last mile shuttles that take commuters from Caltrain and BART stations to their places of work, because BART and Caltrain very rarely take you to the front door of wherever you need to go. So that is designed to make it easier for people to take transit. And then we also have a team that works directly with employers throughout the county. They offer resources and help with their commuter benefits programs. So all of this is in the name of encouraging all commuters who come to or from San Mateo County to not drive alone, because the number of people driving alone and the amount of traffic congestion that we see in normal non-COVID pandemic times is really bad for the environment. It's bad for our health, and it's bad for the economy. So next slide, please. So I would like to take this time to talk a little bit about our programs and services that are designed to help commuters go green. So our commuter programs that are mostly rewards, we have a $100 annual carpool reward. So people who carpool to and from work can earn up to $100 for about 40 days of carpooling throughout the year. We also have a bike to work program that is structured very similarly. And then we also have a tri-transit program where we will give first-time riders free transit tickets for Caltrain, the ferry, and CMTrans. So that is designed as similar to, you know, like the free sample that you get at the grocery store way back in normal times. It is designed to just give somebody a low-risk chance to test out a public transit commute. All of our, we have a few more reward programs. They're all available on our STAR platform, which is where anybody can sign up for a free account, they can track their commutes, and they can participate in our reward programs. We also have a few services that we offer to commuters as well. So we just started this about a month or two ago. We have started a commute concierge type service. It's a personal commute planning service. So somebody tells us their origin, their destination, their work schedule, which modes they're interested in taking, and any non-work commitments that we need to take into consideration. And we will come up with a customized plan that is unique to them. We also have a guaranteed ride home program. So if commuters take the bus or train or carpool or bike to work and an emergency comes up and they need to get home, or they need to pick up their kid at daycare or at school, but they didn't drive to work that day, we will cover the cost of an Uber or Lyft to wherever they need to go. And we'll reimburse them up to $60 4 times a year. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about a few upcoming events. Christine already teased you with our annual symposium that's happening next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 11 a.m. It is all about the hybrid workplace. So we're thinking ahead, what are the workplaces going to look like when offices start welcoming their employees back? So every day, Monday through Wednesday, our employers team is going to sit down with some experts and talk about the hybrid workplace. And I will drop a link to register in the chat. And everybody is welcome. And then our other major upcoming event, also I think teased a little bit earlier, is Bike Month. And I'm actually going to let Emma talk a little bit more about it. But Commute.org has a month-long challenge where anybody who logs their bike to wherever trips, whether that's to work if you're commuting, or the grocery store, or going to see a friend in the park, if you bike there and you log your trip, you're going to be entered to win weekly prizes. We also will be distributing the famous Bike to, typically work day, but really just Bike Month bags. We're going to be partnering with the libraries in San Mateo County on May 22nd for Bike to Your Library Day, where you can come and pick up one of those bags. We're also partnering with some farmers markets throughout the county where you can also pick up a bag and while you do your farmers market shopping. So I feel like I ran quickly through that, but if you have any questions, I'll drop my contact information into the chat, and please feel to reach out. And thank you, Sustainable San Mateo County, for inviting me today.
Great. Thank you so much, Mary. That was wonderful. And I'm sure we'll have lots of questions for you as well. And we thank all of our speakers. And last but not least, our third speaker is Emma Schles from the Silicon Valley Bike Coalition. And she's the deputy director there. She's been there for 8 years now. She oversees the advocacy and programs team and works on regional policy issues, including Caltrain and BART bike parking and access. Emma has a dual master's degree in natural resources and sustainable development from American University and the UN mandated University for Peace, where she completed several projects on bicycling at the local and global levels. She's previously worked on national campaigns ranging from diesel pollution to transportation funding. And she rides her bike with Caltrain on her daily commute and has lived all over the Bay Area. Emma, we're thankful to have you here today to join us. So please tell us your information.
Thanks, Kirsten, and thanks, Sustainable San Mateo County. Good evening, everyone. My name is Emma Schles. I'm the Deputy Director at Silicon Valley Bike Coalition. You can go to the next slide. There you go. So we're a nonprofit membership-based organization, and we work throughout San Mateo and Santa Clara counties to make it just easier and safer and all the good things, just more biking. And we want to see 10% of trips by bike. That was part of your trivia question. San Mateo County right now is about 1.5%, which just includes commute trips and for adults. So it's not totally comprehensive, but you see we do have a ways to go. Next slide. So last year, pre-pandemic, we did a poll with Chains Research and Mineta Transportation Institute to look at how people choose the transportation modes that they do. And this wasn't just about biking, but it was asking all types of questions about, so this slide shows how do you make those transportation decisions for your daily trips. And so we found that speed, like how fast it takes to get somewhere, is the #1 factor in how people choose to get around, followed by safety from crime, ease of use, and safety from crashes. So from this, we know we have to make things faster, easier, and safer to get more people biking. Not shown on this slide, but another factor is just culture. So the more folks that you know around you, like you, who bike, the more likely you're gonna bike too, and vice versa. So this speaks to just having more activities that get people riding with their friends, things that people can invite other people to, like bike to work day or bike to wherever day, and just getting out there. Next slide. You can see the link here at the bottom. If you're interested in the full report, there's a lot more interesting data and information on our website, which I'll also link to. But this slide shows, in terms of infrastructure, we found that no one really likes biking next to 45-mile-per-hour traffic. No surprise there. But also people don't really like biking next to 25-mile-per-hour traffic. What people do like is biking on trails. So like the Bay Trail is one great example, or protected lanes. So when there's a physical barrier between the bike lane and vehicles. So right now, we don't yet have many streets like this in San Mateo County, though there are some great examples, but we do have the power to change that and implement better bike infrastructure. Next slide. So maybe click again. Hopefully the words come up. Oh, yes, thank you. So some of the advocacy things that we're working on, we have what we call local teams. So we have groups of our members that live in different geographies and meet monthly, and we have email groups for those as well. So we've recently changed the format of that. So every month, actually next Wednesday is the next one, April 21st, we have what we call a Biketivists Forum. And so we do the first hour of an educational topic, and the second hour we break out, and this is all online on Zoom, break out into the local teams. So for example, we have a City of San Mateo team, and I know a couple of the members are here on the call. But so they'll meet in that second hour and talk about what projects they want to work on in City of San Mateo to get more people biking. And we're just trying to really boost up that people power all across San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. And so we're also doing advocacy trainings and involved in a number of other countywide projects going on. Next slide. And yeah, you can go through these. These are the programmatic side. Oh, go back. The programmatic side. So that's really focused on behavior change. And so we work with San Mateo County Office of Ed on Safe Routes to School programs. So teaching kids in the classroom and on the pavement how to bike safely, how to navigate the streets. I'll talk about a couple of these that my colleagues also just mentioned. Also doing free online monthly bike workshops. So we have I'll share the dates in another slide, but this is kind of your basic adult, kid, anyone can join. You know, you've either never biked on the street or you're kind of ready to level up. We have a bunch of different topical classes that we're giving, so just to help people get more acquainted with those skills. Next slide. And so e-bikes, Carlos talked about the upcoming e-bike rebate program, which we're super excited about. And SUBC is partnering with PCE on that. So we'll be doing some additional outreach as well as classes and bike rides. So we want to spread the word far and wide. And then once people have either already bought their e-bike or considering it, we'll have some classes about just some, you know, again, basic skills of like how to ride safely on the street, but also some specific things about e-bikes. And then we'll have some like group fun rides so people can, you know, kind of explore like, now that I have a bike, where should I go? And just like, where are those safe routes to bike? Next slide. And then Mary talked about this. Bike month is May. Usually it's Bike to Work Day, and we've rebranded so that you can bike anywhere. You don't have to go to the office. And there's a lot going on. So again, if you go to our website, there it's at the bottom, you can click on all the links for this. There's, you know, pledge to ride in the month of May, you'll win some, you can eligible to win prizes. Mary mentioned the Energizer Stations. There's a map that will probably be updated in the next couple weeks where the Energizer Stations will be that weekend, and you can get your famous Bike to Work Day bag. Then there's gonna be an online bike film fest and an online bike bash to just wrap everything up at the end of the month or the beginning of June. Next slide. Okay, so here's some of the upcoming dates of those things I mentioned. Adam also posted the link in the chat to the Biketivists forum, and we're talking about Vision Zero next week. So that's programs and policies to reduce collisions on the roadways, and fatalities, number one. And then monthly workshops, those are the educational things I mentioned. This is all online, all on Zoom. We're doing a family bike workshop at the end of the month, and that'll be like, how do you bike with kids or even pets? How do you bring pets along and your kids on your bike? And we'll doing the basic biking 101 in May. And then we also have a big conference in August. I'm just, you know, save the date. We don't have info quite yet, but it's coming up. Next slide. So just in conclusion, please become a member. If you're a bicyclist or want to support biking, we need members like you, and you can join at the Energizer Stations. You can join our website. We'd love to have all of your support. And that's the end of my slides. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Emma. That's terrific. And love the bike rodeos and the bike to wherever now. I think that we're all modifying, right? All right, Christine, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, so, you know, I was having an eye on time, and I think, unfortunately, I mean, we had, I mean, first of all, thank you all our speakers. I think that's fascinating, and you have so many great events coming up. I mean, everybody should go to your websites and make sure that they attend the events. But I see we are a little bit short on time to do our traditional happy hour format with the breakout rooms. So I think at this point, what I'd like to do is, why don't we open it up to questions? And Kirsten, if you want to continue to moderate, and then I would say we'll do a quick, or maybe we should do a quick break right now, because actually I had a few poll questions that maybe we should get out of the way. So maybe let's do that right now.
Perfect.
Okay. And then we can start our discussion. Okay, so I think you can see the questions here. So there are 6 questions. This one is about where you live. So I think you can start answering. You're ready? Just kind of to get a pulse and see where we are at in terms of biking and EVs and just commute. All right. I'll give you a little bit more time. I think we are like at about 50% of people that have voted so far. Let's go at least up to 75. Giving you a few more seconds. We are 68. Okay. All right, so I think I'm going just to share it with you. Thank you. So I think we're at 78. So, okay, here is how it looks like. Oops. So most of you, a third of you live not in the northern part of the county, another third more around San Mateo, and then we have 23% around the southern part of the county. So that's a relatively balanced representation. That's great. And then, okay, so yeah, I think everyone, Emma especially, I think we can maybe try to find some ways to get more people on bikes. I mean, it's good. We are almost 60% of people that are using bikes or e-bikes regularly, but you know, probably could boost these numbers a little bit. And in terms of EVs, so that's 20% of you who own or lease and use an EV. Maybe some of you are actually biking instead. And then we had a bunch of questions around what was happening before the pandemic and whether you were regularly taking public transportation. So I think it's relatively strong with 43% of our audience here that, yes, used to take public transportation before COVID-19 hit us. And in terms of carpooling to work, that's interesting because here we see a clear trend that this seems to not have been really the case. And then lastly, we were wondering what your plans are once, you know, we get a handle on COVID and people are fully vaccinated. And it looks like about 2/3 of you are ready to jump back into public transportation and carpooling. So that's great news. So I think with that, I'm going to stop sharing here and back to you, Kirsten.
Okay, so I guess we have time for a few questions. We can look in the chat room, or if somebody would like to has a burning question, please, why don't you present it?
I had a quick question for Emma. I just moved to South San Francisco and I'm just trying to find ways to get involved. I'd never heard of the Biketivists before. Maybe you can speak a little more to that or other ways I can get involved in terms of the larger, city, planning in general, et cetera.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you should totally join our North San Mateo County team because a lot of the members that are already in it are in South San Francisco. So they've already had a huge win. Council passed a Vision Zero policy like a month after the team decided to make it their goal. So they met with city council members and city staff and got that on the agenda really fast. So I can send you an email and connect you, but I'll also post the link in the chat here. So we have a bunch of different teams, not one for every city yet, but it's just if you're interested in local advocacy, I would recommend getting involved with that, either signing up on the email group and or joining the meetings. And the next one is next Wednesday.
Awesome, thank you.
That's great. Yes, and I see Terry Nagel, our board member and president, has a question.
Yes. Or a burning question.
Hello, Terry.
So is PCE going to have the discount on cars, the rebate, I should say, on electric vehicles, October to December this year, or is that still up in the air?
That is still up in the air this year. We've had to reduce our budget this year, so it may not be possible. We're not ready to commit on that, but it seems like it might not continue this year. But if anything changes, of course, we'll make a note. I just don't want to set expectations that it will be back.
I understand. The other quick question is, what's the cost of an electric bicycle, how much do you have to spend? And Emma might want to weigh in on this too.
That's a great question. For our program specifically, I mean, they can be expensive, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the bike shops are talking in the 3,000 range.
Wow.
For our program specifically, we limit it to $1,800, which actually severely limits the supply. So that, I mean, most bikes are higher than that right now.
Really? Wow.
That being said, you know, there are still like, I believe, a Rad Power, and there's a couple other e-bikes that do fall within that price range. So we're hoping newer players are coming in and reducing the price, but on average, they are still quite expensive.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to raise your hand and chime in? I can look on the next screen too. Do you see the questions we've posted in the chat? There's a couple, you know, sharing your 3 reasons to switch to a sustainable transportation mode. What are your top 3 reasons to switch? And what is the #1 reason you choose to get around? Emma had put a posting up about that. You know, is it speed, safety, convenience, comfort? It looks like there's other. Somebody's asking, can collapsible bicycles still be purchased and what is the cost? These were starting to gain support with commuters, especially into San Francisco. Yes, that's true. I have a folding bike, and it's nice because when the Caltrain lines would fill up with regular bikes, you could still get on with your folding bike, but I'm sure somebody else would want to talk into that. Maybe Mary?
Sorry, I was distracted by another question. Can you repeat that?
Okay, I think I answered it. Yes, the folding bikes are allowed. What was the other question you were looking at, Mary?
I saw that question. I thought it was for Carlos. If the collapsing bicycle maybe counted.
Sure, yeah. I think it's really, are they allowed on Caltrain? And yes, they are. But Carlos, do you want to add in on that?
In terms of our program, if they're eligible, yeah, it would be eligible, being that it's electric and under that $1,800 threshold.
Great. Somebody's posting that they'd love to have a bicycle, but they live in a small apartment building and they don't have secure space to park their bikes. So how do you address that? Working with the California Apartment Association, maybe, to get them to put in safer bike storage? Emma, do you have anything to say about that? Have you heard that issue?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tricky, like dealing with apartment buildings that have already been built and like whether there's space or not for that. What we have done is we've worked with developers who are building new apartment buildings and work to have, you know, bike rooms or other safe bike storage on site. And then we've also worked with Caltrain to have better and safer bike parking on Caltrain stations. So they're actually right now rolling out a bunch of updated bike lockers that are electronic, and they're not previously that you kind of had to reserve one for many years and how to key and everything. And now these ones like can turn over by the hour, or you can keep it there longer term too.
Right. Somebody posted you can get an e-bike at Costco for $800, but the better ones are $1,600 to $5,200.
I think Leanne, you were raising your hand in your video.
Leanne.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Do you know if there's like a Craigslist or something for used bike lockers? I was thinking I'd just get one of those and put it in my apartment anyway.
I don't know. You might want to try reaching out to Caltrain and see what they're doing with their old lockers. I haven't heard anything.
Repurpose. Russell, did you want to raise your hand? You're on mute. Oh, I can't tell. Anybody else hand raising?
Hey, Kirsten, I see a great question from Justine also. What's the best way to encourage cities to implement protected bike lanes? Like, you know, we have in Europe, so tough one. I don't know if we have any city people with us here today. I mean, feel free to chime in.
Well, I can say when I was on the Menlo Park City Council, I certainly worked a lot with Emma on trying to implement safe bike lanes on El Camino Real, and wanted to be the first city to do it to show it could be done safely. And it is really hard, right, Emma?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like that's kind of the crux of everything we try and do is like, how do we move the needle to get city officials more aware of the, everything. That's why we did the poll. That's why we're doing these bike-to-biz forums, because I think one of the best ways is just building up, the base basically of people in your community that care about this issue and want to see that, and start meeting with council members and showing up at meetings and really like making your case and making it really obvious that this is what your community wants. I think that'll, that goes a long way. Kirsten, I'm sure you can attest to that.
I think, just building those coalitions, which is what you're so good at doing up and down the peninsula everywhere. And it'll be interesting now to see, what can kind of happen with that Dumbarton rail line. I see that's one of your topics of discussion in the future.
Yeah, we've been working on, we want there to be a trail alongside any transit from Redwood City to the Dumbarton Bridge along that corridor.
Yeah, a bike and walking pedestrian trail. Yeah, yeah. Okay, anybody else? I'm looking in the chat too, but if somebody wants to speak up. We need protected bicycle lanes here in Foster City. Unfortunately, with construction needs, including drivers for the levee upgrade projects, they had to be removed. Oh, that's too bad. I don't know if anybody wants to comment on that. I don't know much about that Foster City project.
Christian, it's Larry.
Larry, yeah.
I think that was done mainly as a obvious, security and measure, legalistic thing like that for people, because you can't have people out there when you got construction vehicles around, somebody could get hurt. So I think, and I don't know if it was overkill, but I understand why they probably had to do it for now. But the project's going to go on 2 years, so it'll be like that to 2023. It looks
hard. I see Harvey Rohrbach's on here, but I think one of the issues too is hard for people on coast side, trying to use our public transportation. It's really hard for people in Pacifica and Half Moon Bay. And I don't know if Mary wants to address that, or Mary, do you have anything to say about coast side?
I know that we have board members who are very vocal about getting more support for the coastal communities and making it easier for them to get to the east side without causing this massive gridlock. I believe my colleague Kim is on here, but we just there was a coastal transportation plan that I believe that we were asked to participate in. So maybe Kim, not to put you on the spot, Kim, but I think you might know a little bit more about me.
No problem. Happy to contribute. We currently are in the process of our strategic plan that will cover the next 5 years. And one of the things that was identified is really looking at the geographic areas that we that is not getting enough attention, as well as other equity concerns. So specifically, the coast side has come up as an important area that we need to do more and find out what it is that they want that will work. Because there's of course, over the years, we've tried many different things and with low results. So I think we have to do a better job of finding out what's going to work for the community and how can we assist. So that's more coming there, especially in the near future.
Right. Yeah.
Half Moon Bay has a bike and ped master plan, which was approved a few months ago, and we got our first large grant to have more bike lanes in the downtown area. So we're doing what we can. It's a start.
That's great news. Great. Yeah, and I see Pacifica City Council just endorsed the seamless transit principles. So that's good news. Good. And any other questions?
Hey, Kirsten, I would love to hear from our community some ideas, even like wild ideas about how we could actually really boost sustainable transportation in our county. So, if you have some ideas, some suggestions, either in the chat or just speak up.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. I'll put one in right now and just throw that. I think I have a typo in there, sorry. But yes, if anybody, any wild ideas for improving our public transportation, Harvey?
Well, we just got a wild idea from somebody who wants to do a what he calls a ropeway, but it's essentially a gondola from San Mateo down to Half Moon Bay along Route 92, and then this guy's phase 2 would be to extend it to Caltrain, so you could leave the coast side and go to Caltrain without a car.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's only $120 million.
Oh yeah, that's all?
That's all.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's good to have the wild ideas. Yeah. Let's see. So what is, if anybody wants to say, what's the number one reason why you don't maybe ride a bike in your neighborhood, in your community? Emma posted things, you know, safety and ease.
Yeah. I would say going to work, it's just, it would be around 2 hours on a regular bike. So it would be exhausting and take a long time. And I mean, El Camino is obviously a huge impediment to any kind of commute there. So I'd say those two things.
Anybody else while we finish up here, and then Christine, I'll let you close. I think we're coming to an end, but it's been a great discussion as usual. And I know Christine is going to announce what our next meeting will be on too. Thank you.
So thank you again. I mean, to our speakers, I mean, I learned a ton, and I'm always amazed because you always come up with like great solutions to engage the community more. So that's fantastic. Everyone just go and try to participate in the May events especially. And Carlos, I mean, thank you to Peninsula Clean Energy for all the rebates, and, you know, basically just try to do what you can, because we do have an urgency with the climate emergency that we are facing now. Actually, that was just a change in word. I mean, it's now no longer climate change, it is a climate emergency. And we all have to step up and, you know, do what we can to try to reverse this situation. But anyways, I mean, pleasure to have you all here. Thank you, Kirsten, and the Happy Hour team for putting together this important topic for today. And I do hope that we'll see many of you at our May Happy Hour that's going to focus once again on low carbon food systems. And that's another important issue because, of course, with the population growing up rapidly and the huge contribution that food systems also have in terms of the greenhouse gas emissions, we do have to get a handle and try to come up with solution in this area as well. So thanks again. If you have additional resources even after this event, feel free to email us and we'll compile them and share them with the group. And hope to see you on May 26th at the Happy Hour, and before, for sure, also at our award celebration that's on May 14th. And we have some amazing award winners this year, and you'll want to hear about the accomplishment. It's stunning. So with that, you have a great evening. See you soon.
Bye, everyone. Have a good evening. Good to see all of you.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
All right.
Okay, we're still on.
Bye, Christine.
I'm going to end it, so bye-bye.